people dial in. Just a quick check. All right. Yes, I see. Okay, I think I need to rechange some settings, but I think this should work well now. So great. I understand the audience are able to hear me now. So those of you who have joined the room, please say a quick yes in the chat window. It works now. Yes, Rajul, thank you for the confirmation. Thanks, Danush. Thank you. Also, let us know the city that you're dialing in from. It's early in the morning in India. I know there are some people who have registered from Africa and rest of the world as well. So let us know the city that you're dialing in from. So I see someone from Mumbai, Pune. I see Ramesh from New Delhi. I see Saad from Mumbai as well. Someone from Delhi, Bangalore. Uh, Anyone dialing in from outside of India? I see others from Vadodara, Gujarat. I see Fatehgarh, Sahib, Hyderabad, Singapore. Okay, I see someone from Singapore now. All right, so Mumbai, lots of people from Mumbai. So there's huge interest from Mumbai to Singapore. Great to see that. And thank you to those who have joined in on time. It's really great to be hosting you. Welcome again. My name is Sanjay Dhingra. I am one of the co-founders and the chief operating officer at Seed Global Education. We are a higher education firm that facilitates such conversations between top universities, top business schools with prospective candidates like yourself. This gives you an opportunity to connect with the admission directors or the career services directors or panels like these to understand more about their programs, the career services that they offer, and evaluate programs that may be most relevant and suitable for you. In today's session, we are interacting with Nanyang Business School's team over here. So I have Professor Ivy Kwon, who is the Assistant Dean of Career Services. I have Regine and Erica from the admissions team. I have Mayank, Suman, and Ayushi, who are alumni of NBS, of the various master's programs that NBS offers, and they will all share their perspective and insights about the NBS program with you today. Before we get into that, I quickly want to run our first poll for the evening, first poll for the morning. We have been doing a lot of sessions in the evening, so I keep confusing the timing, but great. So the first poll for the morning is live on your screen right now. The question is, how interested are you in building your career in Singapore? So is Singapore your top destination or not for your career pathway? That's what we are trying to understand. Since the session today is around careers in Singapore and how you can build a correct, successful long-term career in Singapore, this is the apt question to ask. So let us know, what is your interest level in building your career in Singapore? This is on a scale of 5, 5 being the highest. So if you're very, very interested in being in Singapore, building a career over there, rate 5, 4, 3 accordingly. So 5 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. So let us know what is your interest level in building a career in Singapore. I'm going to keep this live for another 5 to 10 seconds. So please do respond. In the meanwhile, I'm just going to go through the chat. So I see someone who's dialed in from Indonesia. Thank you, Nurul. Thank you for coming in. I see Ramesh from Shahid Sukhdev College of Business Studies, University of Delhi. Again, thank you for coming in. Top tier college under Delhi University. So great to see you over here as well. Great. I have around 65 responses come in. Let me wait for a few more seconds. If you haven't responded, please do respond. Let us know what is your interest level in building your career in Singapore. And with that, I am going to end this poll and share the results. Great. So as you can see from the screen, around 27% of the audience, so 1/4 of the audience is very keen on building a career in Singapore. 46% are 4 out of 5. So again, a fairly high level of interest. I would assume 3 is like not sure, undecided kind of thing. So 18% over there. The remaining 9% are looking at opportunities, possibly other than Singapore. But thank you for dialing in. It's always good to evaluate your options, understand more about different geographies, different markets, and take a decision accordingly. We have around 130 participants in this room right now. So I'm going to start the session. What I'm going to do, just about the flow of the session, we are going to start with a presentation by Professor Kwon. She's going to tell you about the career services at NBS, tell you more about what support the NBS's career services team provides its students to find successful opportunity in Singapore and in the region as well. Once she's done, she's going to invite Suman, Ayushi, Mayank, Erica, and Regine to join the panel. And she will take certain questions for the panelists as well, give you a taste of the experience that these students had when they studied at NBS, pursued their masters at NBS, and post that we'll also take some audience questions. One quick update over here, on next Saturday, which is the 17th of December, Regine would also be doing an application workshop. So if you decide after the session to apply to NBS and you want guidance on making your application, then that application workshop would be extremely relevant. We'll soon post a link to register for that application workshop in the chat window very shortly. So do register if you're looking to apply to NBS. And we will set you up with a time slot for the same as well. With that, let me hand over this panel to Professor Kwan, and let her take us through her presentation. Over to you, Professor Kwan.
Thank you, Sanjay, for a very warm welcome to everybody. Good day, everybody. Very glad that you're joining us today. And I'm going to be spending some time sharing with you the great offerings here at MBS from a careers perspective. And really the biggest insights will be coming from our panel alumni over here. So I'm joined by Mayang, Suman, and Ayushi, who are very recent graduates from our programs. So let me just share a little bit in terms of the kind of career services that you will have in store for you when you join us on our program. Now, I realize that 3/4 of you are interested in a career in Singapore. So I hope I'm talking to the majority here, but don't be fooled, right? Even though we're a program located here in Singapore, a lot of our graduates have gone on to careers outside Singapore. In fact, more than half of our graduates have landed jobs outside of Singapore, not just within the specialized master's programs, but also within our various MBA programs. So I'm sure what we're sharing with you today will be able to give you the kind of global perspective and hopefully guide you towards a decision in terms of choosing the right business school as you embark upon this very important journey of a life. So what do we have here at MBS from a careers perspective? Now, I like to think of us as being a very passionate careers team with very customized offerings for every single program. Now, we run more than 10 programs here within the business school at postgrad level, and being able to offer you a customized program is indeed our value proposition vis-a-vis our competition. So in whichever program you choose from, you'll be able to meet some folks of the similar insights and likings as yourself, but also be supported by a careers team that brings a lot of industry experience from all over the world for you to embark upon your journey upon graduation. So hopefully that customized offering is really what sets us apart from our competition. Despite us being a rather large business school, we actually have a very high touch model for our postgraduate program. And we are one of the very few business schools around the region where we have a dedicated careers team that is only focused on postgraduates within the business school. We are the biggest business school in Singapore, if you include the undergrad programs, and also the postgrad programs. Despite our size, I believe our programs and our model in terms of career services is actually a very high touch model, whereby you get one-on-one coaching with each and every one of our consultants and then help you connect the dots in embarking upon a very difficult, sometimes treacherous career journey. A little bit about myself. I come from industry, formerly with McKinsey, with over 10 years of experience working with C-suites in the financial services and private equity space. Prior to that, I did a little bit of dabbling into my postgrad career as well. So I took the MBA at the University of Michigan, and before that, I have more than 10 years of investment banking and others forms of banking experience. Currently, I'm an associate prof at MBS. I teach mainly organizational behavior and management consulting, and I obviously am leading the team of postgrad career consultants here at MBS, and we manage over 200 employees, not just in Singapore, but outside of Singapore. So what do we offer? So GSCDO, this is the 5 letters you cannot forget, right? If you ever want to embark upon a journey here in Singapore, it stands for Graduate Studies Career Development Office at the Nanyang Business School. And I'm being a little bit cheeky in terms of using this acronym to really bring forth what we offer to you. Now, we like to see our ability to be able to guide you, because we know that this is a very difficult decision as you embark upon a 1-year program. It takes away time, takes away a lot of income from you. So from an investment perspective, we like to see ourselves as being able to guide you towards a journey that hopefully will reap a very high ROI for you. We're very, very passionate in terms of supporting you, and really we are the change catalyst that really guides you through this journey of self-discovery and really enabling you to unlock your full potential. You may not realize that we have this potential within you right now, but we see ourselves as being able to let you see this potential and unlock it so that you're able to pursue and achieve your career goals. And in the process, be able to develop you, and through our various connections with our alumni, with our industry partners, be able to open doors for you. How do we do it? A couple of things that we do very well vis-a-vis our competition. The first thing is the one-on-one high-touch model. And through this model, we are able to organize a number of discussions, workshops, seminars, and talks for you that hopefully help you gain the right skill sets that we know our employers are seeking. As a result, which provide you the necessary guidance in terms of industry and market outlook. Through our very large community of industry partners and alumni network, which is more than 250,000 if you include the entire NTU alumni network, we connect you to a community of alumni, industry mentors and coaches who are the ones who will be able to support you in your career journey, but also be the ones who create the networks that open doors for you. Through a variety of platforms, we bring together a whole host of job opportunities for you, and as a result, put you in a better stead as you go on this process. You will be given a career coach, which is something that not all universities can claim. And our career coaches come from industry, over 20 of them. They all have walked that journey and in all the relevant industries as well as functions that you are aspiring to go to. You'll be supported by a whole team of program leads and sector consultants, all of whom come from industry, like myself, coming from various industries and sector and functions that you will be applying to as you go into this program. And we'll put you in touch with our alumni employers. So who are these people, right? This is just a sliver of the team here. Is by no means completely representative. You see a number of folks here who all come from industry and bring with them the relevant networks and importantly, the insights that will help you get a better understanding of what the industry needs from you and what kind of job, skill sets that they are looking for and help you build those skill sets so as to make you a much better and more successful applicant. We cover the entire space in terms of industry as well as geographies. Some of the very, very popular industries that our past graduates have embarked on are in the areas of FMCG, e-commerce, consulting, technology, financial services. We also have a fully entire support system in terms of those of you who are interested in entering the sustainability space. And we also cover all markets outside Singapore with a specific focus on China and all international markets outside China. All right. The process we go through is very simply opening up the network and connection for you. So as you join us in this one-year program, even though it may be short, you will be exposed to more than 70 events, alumni talks, career workshops, and employment fairs each year, and all of which will be bringing you the necessary job opportunities here within Singapore as well as outside Singapore. So our model has worked wonders, right? We have achieved more than 95% placement rate of employment, 3 months within graduation across all our specialized master's programs into employers that are top tier names, right? You'll recognize a lot of these names on this page, the likes of Alibaba, Ant Group, Barclays, the Big Four, consulting firms, Murex for those of you who are interested in masters in financial engineering, the e-commerce firms like Shopee, Tencent, and of course the financial services firms like JP Morgan, Huatai Securities, and Citi. Okay, so with that, as a very short introduction in terms of what you can expect from career services, I would like to extend, well, I'll be brave, welcome to you. I hope all of you will be able to make that very crucial decision in terms of applying to which school by the end of today's program. Hopefully be able to welcome you on this career journey with us next year. All right, so that was a very, very short introduction. The best part of today's session is really in the insights that our panelists will be bringing to us. So I'm very proud to be able to facilitate with this panel with 3 of my students from the previous batches. I work with all of them. They are Mayang, Ayushi, and Suman. Suman comes from the class of 2019, and he graduated with the Master of Science in Financial Engineering. He's now with DBS Bank, and prior to that, he had worked in a number of places before coming to the business school here in Singapore. Ayushi, who is now with, oh my God, let me just, Salesforce, right? Ayushi, are you from Salesforce?
ServiceNow, yes.
Yes, a ServiceNow, yes, I get these two confused. And Ayushi was a student I had worked with as well. I remember her very fondly from her days when she was just a student here. And then finally we have Mayang. Mayang is from the class of 2022, very, very recent graduate. And he graduated with a Master of Science in Business Analytics. And when he was a student here, he actually interned with a startup firm, a startup that is run by a very close friend of mine who was an MBA classmate back in the day, and she still remembers Mayang very fondly. And Mayang is now with Shopee. So welcome, Suman, welcome Ayushi, welcome Mayang.
Hello.
Hello, thanks, Evie.
Hi. Okay, so so humans are deeply curious by nature, right? And we're constantly on a quest to learn and contribute to others' learning through the choices we make. And I believe this is true of all of us here today, right? So hopefully with our panelists' insights, we'll be able to share with you the story of their quests to learn new things and how they actually brought them to NBS. All of them come with prior working experience, right? So very, very important element that makes them a very successful candidate, both in the classroom as well as in the job market. And hopefully they'll be able to share with you some insights that will ignite some passion within all of you and make that decision of yours much easier in terms of selecting the business school of choice. So before we go into the discussion proper, so maybe I'll start with a trivia question with you, Suman, Ayushi, and Mayang. So complete this sentence in terms of what the impact of completing an MBS specialized program has been for you. This sentence being from what I was to where I am. So Suman, let's start with you.
To keep it simple, maybe a very local resident to like a global citizen.
A local citizen to a global citizen. And you were from?
Hyderabad.
Hyderabad. Okay.
Yeah, but I was like so localized. I was just looking into those markets. My exposure was so limited prior to joining NBS. Like after completing the graduation and all, everything was completely different now. Nothing to do with even Singapore also. Like I try for roles like across the world now. People do even recognize me. That's far better. Like.
And what are you doing now at Shopee?
Yeah. So currently I'm working in DBS, so in technology
DBS,
and yes. Technology and operations department, the specialist business analyst.
Yeah, the best digital bank in the world. Biggest Singaporean, not to lay claim to that. Okay, thank you. Let's move on to Ayushi.
Well, for me, I think before NBS, I would say, I think exposure is what has impacted the most for me. The exposure that I got at NBS. And so in some sense, I would say that it sort of broadened my vision about my own career, and that has been the biggest plus. So yeah.
Thank you. And last but not least, Mayang.
Yeah, I would say, I'm from Delhi, and I've never lived out of Delhi all my life. I lived in Delhi all my life. But thanks to NBS, I got this opportunity to come here to Singapore, make new friends, work amongst one of the top talents in the world in a multicultural environment, and which is also like a challenge, but also an opportunity to really grow my career in many ways. Yeah.
So Mayang, what were some of the key considerations you had when you were choosing a graduate program, as a lot of our candidates here in the audience must now be pondering, right? And then what were some of the key factors that eventually led you to signing up with NBS?
Yeah, so first, if I talk about Singapore, it's like a super safe country. And also if you're in India, so it's like very close to India, only 2.5 years of time difference. Climate is also very similar, plus plenty of food options. So it gets easier. Secondly, NBS is very well reputed school, top 10, top 20 every year. One of the best graduates graduate from here. Plus, you have some you'll sit among very talented classmates, which means also that the networking that you do here stays with you throughout your life. Also, a name tag which will stay with you throughout your life. That's the two main considerations, right?
Yeah, climate is always a very important factor. And which part of India were you from?
I'm from Delhi.
Delhi. Oh, at least you get some nice winters. We don't even get we just get hot and hotter and really, really hot. But this month has been really nice. No thanks to climate change. We've been getting quite a bit of rain here. Ayushi, what for you? What were your considerations, and how did NBS being the one for you?
So actually, I'm from Cochin in Kerala. So I think for me, Singapore is definitely, I mean, if we talk about Southeast Asia specifically, right? I mean, Singapore is one of the most emerging markets globally for corporates and whatnot. So, I mean, in terms of opportunities, you know that Singapore is promising. And also, yes, of course, the proximity matters a lot. And climate-wise, I think Kerala and Singapore are very much similar. So it was really easy. It was a very easy choice for me to pick Singapore, you know. And when it comes to NBS, I think coming from a digital marketing background and our marketing program at NBS are also offering marketing and focusing on those lines is what was important to me. And that is exactly what I got from the course as well. So yeah, that was another big consideration.
Suman, so it's inevitable if one is considering Singapore to make the comparison between us and US and SMU. And I'll be very, very brave to ask you this question: why NBS versus instead NUS or SMU? Suman.
Hey, sorry, I'll ask you, like last 1 minute, I lost you. Last sentence.
Yeah, I think a lot of the folks in the audience are thinking of Singapore, and it's inevitable to compare NBS with NUS and SMU, right? So tell us what was it about NBS that set us apart from our competition?
Oh, okay. For me, like prior to choosing this masters, I had experienced as a derivative market trader. Like you said earlier, your courses were so customized. So for me, like I choose like masters in financial engineering. So it's a culmination of statistics, programming, finance. It perfectly suits me. And then I look into the curriculum and all. I feel like NBS curriculum is very good when you compare with other universities within Singapore. Okay, for Singapore, like why did we choose? I think almost the reasons that Mayank and Arvish, I completely agree with them. But the reason for me choosing NBS is because of this curriculum, faculty, and the best part in our course was I also got an opportunity to go to US for in Carnegie Mellon University. I did computational finance there. Yeah. So it's about customize this kind of customized program.
This was for the last term.
Last time we got this opportunity. I'm not sure. Like currently, do we have the same thing? Where
Okay, and you enjoy your time there?
Very, very nice. Very good. Lots of exposure.
Very good. So maybe share with us from a personal experience standpoint. I'm sure moving to another country where that is completely new, whereby you've never worked in for the most part of your life. What was that experience like settling into Singapore, and particularly into a very intense program like the Master of Science in Financial Engineering for you?
Okay, so in the beginning weeks, I would definitely say the team in NBS was very good, genuine, warm, and then you have the cohorts from different places, right? That is also the best thing. But to tell you frankly, after 1 or 2 weeks, I could see this. The course is hectic. I was involved into all the projects, assignments. I was involved into like all these things. So I was always occupied, like completely occupied. Yeah.
Yes. It's one of the most intense programs. They probably don't have time to even sleep. Classes were mostly in the evenings.
Sorry.
Were classes mostly in the evenings?
Yes, yeah. We had like 6 to 10 p.m. Yeah.
No. It's probably good for you, so you never ever have to suffer from jet lag, because it's actually a very nice time in the afternoon in India, no? What about you? I think, Yushi, can you just share with us your personal experience settling in Singapore?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I really feel that if a university can handle onboarding students during a pandemic properly, then I think that is a good benchmark to set, because considering there were so many uncertainties, and I joined in the year 2020 when we just were hit with the pandemic. Obviously, any student will have millions of questions in their mind about moving to another country and settling down and not really knowing how it's going to be. But I will definitely say that the NBS team has actually, they were communicating with me, in touch, even 2 months prior to our joining date for the course. And even throughout, like us actually being in the country and also settling down with into the campus. Meeting people from our own ethnicities. I think it was quite an experience, and it was definitely very well handled. It was smooth for me, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I still remember those days. Those were pretty challenging days, and the amount of disruptions the pandemic had brought upon us was certainly very challenging. And I'm very happy that you actually settled in quite well. You were the COVID batch, right?
Yes, we were.
I don't think I will remember it fondly, but I certainly do remember it. Mayan, what was your personal experience?
So I would say, like Ayushi, we were like the semi-COVID batch. Half of our classes were, we were still in India, and half our classmates from other nationalities, they made it to Singapore. So our classes were held in Zoom for us who could not make it. So I think it was a challenge for NBS team, but they handled it very well. They also let us know, when exactly can we board our flights and come here as soon as possible, and helped us in all ways to integrate us with our classmates. So yeah, that was a very good experience. And after we came here to Singapore, it actually felt like home. I didn't feel, in terms of environment, in terms of food, I think these are the two main important factors. Didn't feel any difference. And actually, because when we came here to Singapore, our course had already started, so we didn't really have any time to think about anything else. We just straight away, went into studying mode. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sure you had some expectations in terms of what the outcome of having a specialized master's would be in terms of a job search, right, Maya? Right?
Yeah, I did. So if I elaborate on that,
yes.
I think how the career services helped me, especially, was in masters in business analytics. You can either choose two paths. You can either go to the business side, you can go to the technical side. So it's up to you, what you want to do. And so there are different internship opportunities, and they help me identify, which ones actually would suit me more. And based on that, I chose that startup. And I would say I learned a lot there, which really helped me to get this job at Shopee, which I'm doing right now, which is quite different from what I was doing when I was back in India. But yeah.
And Ayushi, you probably also had some expectations as well, as I'm sure a lot of people in the audience would have. Can you tell us, what are some of these expectations, and if they were different based on the experience that you eventually had here, and perhaps shed some light in terms of how the MBS Postgrad Careers Office, what kind of role it played a part in this whole process?
Yeah, so actually, I think most of us here would agree that the education system definitely is different from country to country, and so is the case for India versus Singapore as well, right? So if we look at how the placements and the career opportunities that we look for later on. NBS was definitely helpful in the sense that as soon as we had just started with the course, I remember that we had these sessions on building resumes. It was not something that was, it actually, the course very much started with these things going side by side because of one year program. So we had sessions on that. We also, in a few months down the line, when we were actually in Singapore, we had sessions on interview preparations, and we also spoke one-on-one to program leads and coaches who cater to certain specific industries. If we were, some of us were actually quite specific about what we wanted to get in. I know that my friend was looking for FMCG, and she also got opportunities at Unilever and so on. So for some of us who were really specific also, it was quite helpful. Especially in terms of getting internship opportunities, which was a part of the program and it was optional. So even I took that route with ServiceNow. Even I got an internship through the GSCDO. They approached me with the fact that there was an opportunity there, and I applied for it, and that's how I got the internship. So that was my journey, and yeah, the expectation is. I mean, it's definitely different coming from my Indian university background, but I think this is also a good way to go. We also actually interacted with a few of the alumni, and we connected with them. We had sessions on that as well, and it was definitely helpful. Yeah.
Maybe Suman, you also come with a background in the Indian university. Maybe shed some light in terms of, you know, what are the differences, and how do you manage to navigate through the differences?
Okay, maybe one thing I just want to highlight. So in India, you do a degree in the very good college. It's like a placement. Companies would be coming to the college, and then you'll be getting a placement offer directly. The process is a little bit different. Of course, I understand that you'll like everyone of us could secure a job post graduation, and career services team will help us in the resume, networking. They emphasize the importance of networking, internship, all these things. But this is something which we need to keep it in mind. It's not like a very smooth transition immediately. Like companies would come in and then will just take you in and all. It's like you need to put efforts and try. This is something which took some time for me to penetrate this thing. Although like these expectations were set right in the very beginning, it took some time for me to incorporate all these things. And the best part about this career services, right? They actually understood my like prior background, my career interest, which domain am I seeking for. Although I say you like masters in financial engineering, there are many things that I can go. Like I go for quant trading, risk management group, investment research, even some went into the machine learning also. You have like multiple options there. And then the team like who guided me, right? They clearly understood, okay, what do I need actually, and then they started helping me out, like with how do I structure my narrative. Okay, let's say I'm targeting for something, then I don't have a prior experience, then they emphasize the importance of internship. Okay, so one part is like, okay, they help you to get an internship. We constantly used to get this mails from various companies and all. The most important thing is like not only getting an internship, so how do I capitalize upon it, how do I grab an opportunity or showcasing this internship. All these things I would like really appreciate the career services team in NBS. That's it. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm very happy that our team helped you in the entire journey, and I'm very happy to see you where you are now. And now that you are an alumni, and as you look back in your career prior to joining the program here in India and having developed over the last couple of years, maybe you can share with us some advice for the audience here, many of whom are coming from India, probably like what you were a couple of years back, in terms of what qualities they should be looking out for in career services support, and how that fits in the overall important decision, right, when choosing a business school?
Yeah, I think firstly they need to be like a very good listener. They really need to understand your career interest, background, and all those things. And then you need to guide them. And they, I think everyone out there should look at the career services team should be able to connect us with the alumni. Most of them would be having the similar trajectory or at least the career interest like which we are seeking for. So if basically we need to look at those kind of career services team, like if they're able to offer such things, then yeah, like I would say like it's a very good career service team, like, and which I see it in an NBS. Yeah.
Connections with the alumni.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
and I do agree. I mean, it is the power of the alumni network. The MBS is very proud of. Despite our very short history, we are the largest business school. Therefore, our alumni network is pretty strong, right? And most of myself are proud alumni of the business school. And I'm looking at my peers, right? They are all now C-suite levels making decisions. One of whom actually is offering an internship, had offered an internship to Miami, right? So that's a kind of network that we are constantly tapping into. What about you, Maya? As an alumni now, what kind of advice would you offer to the folks in the audience in terms of what to look for in the career services team, how that should fit into one's decision in terms of making a choice in terms of the university to go to?
I think, very early on, you should engage with the career services team. You should let them know, what are you confused about, what you really want from this master's. Only then they can be able to help you. You should reach out to them. You should not shy away from that. And not shy away from letting them help you, because they will really provide you with lots of options and also help you understand, what each options means for you. Other thing, maybe, yeah, that's all, I guess. If you really know what you really want to do here, then they also have some sessions with the employers where you can actually talk to them. There are many career fairs where you can talk to the employers directly. And you have those one-on-one counseling sessions with the team too. So yeah, I think if you know what you are coming here for, I think it's fine.
Yes, and what has been your personal experience as you went through the program? A lot of us are obviously interested in business analytics as well. It's a very, very hot area. What kind of advice would you provide to our business analytics folks?
If you decide to come here, if you decide to join NBS, I think the whole team is going to be very helpful to you from the start itself. Secondly, you should be very mindful of what internship you're going to join. I think this will be very crucial for your career here in Singapore. And like I said, you should let the team help you. Personally, like you said, I got this internship opportunity through a network actually. I'm still connected to the alumni of my last batch. Actually, I'm also connected to my juniors. So we have a very solid group here. They benefit from me. I also benefit from them. So I think it's important to stay in touch with your seniors, not just from MSBA. I also know people from other master's backgrounds, which also helped me to apply for different jobs.
And you are with one of our top e-commerce players here in Singapore, right? Shopee is a place that a lot of our candidates and students desire to join. Share with us what were some of the secrets in terms of your success in being able to find a job in this top tier company.
Like my role is kind of technical, although previously in India, I wasn't really doing something which involves a lot of coding and, analysis, but my internship really helped in that regard. I could showcase to them during the interview process that, I possess these skills. I have these courses in MSBA, which are complement to to what I have to do at work. And another way to go to Shopee to actually get a job in Shopee is to get an internship. I would say that's the best way to get a job here. A lot of my classmates have made it to Shopee through this route. And yeah.
Mhm. Thank you. So you also spent some time during the program on an internship, right? Tell us what was the journey like, and what made you decide that you were going to go for the internship module as opposed to joining the workforce right away?
Yeah, so actually, for me, I was clear about the fact that I wanted to be in the digital space. So digital marketing is what I chose. And I think it's important for us to have our expectations of ourselves also right, in the sense that what is it that we bring to the table versus the opportunity that is available. I think that gap is something that we need to work towards. And I think for me, ServiceNow, I had heard about the company in the past as well, and them having a really good work culture and so on, those being my priorities as well. And I knew that they're coming up with this internship module, which was specifically for digital marketing, and where it was quite open in the sense that it was more about just exploring what knowledge you bring in versus how you can fit into the company and what you can do to contribute. So there were different projects and things like that. So I got this opportunity, like I mentioned earlier, through the career services portal, and that's how I applied. So even while I was doing the master's course, there were a few subjects and modules that I was focusing more on, which was for me to be able to get these internships, so just sort of preparing myself to be able to tap into these opportunities. So yeah, that was my journey.
And did you go into the internship with the expectation of a conversion? Because obviously it did happen that way.
So at the time, I was not entirely sure of whether I'm going to be continuing in Singapore versus coming back to India and working. But I was aware of the fact that ServiceNow did have offices in India as well. So that was a major plus for me. So yeah, I did have expectations that if it worked out, then yes, I would definitely like to, continue in Singapore. But because of personal reasons, then I chose to work from Bangalore office after the internship. So yeah, that was my way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And since you have some experience working in marketing, and particularly in the digital space, we do have a question from Bhumika in the audience. And the question is her, right? I hope. His or her question is, what scope do marketing, and particularly digital marketing and marketing analytics professionals have in Singapore? And is it difficult to find jobs in this domain? So Yushi, can you maybe shed light on this?
Yeah, sure. So actually, I did apply to a few startups in Singapore. They were looking for marketing professionals. And then there were quite a few opportunities in the digital space specifically. I also know that a few of my friends got into a sort of a marketing program, which was spanning across a year or a year and a half, where you get to explore different parts and departments within marketing. And then you obviously have the opportunity to also continue further depending on your performance over the time. So yeah, I think this is the sort of opportunities that I can recollect, especially when it comes to marketing. And yeah, I think especially with digital marketing, it's also more about being proactive and doing your bit apart from just what is offered, right? So getting into certifications, whatever that's available online, and just upskilling in that sense is extremely important. So yeah, that would be my advice.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you so much. We also have more questions coming in, and I'm mindful of the time, so I'm going to give the rest of the session to answering the questions from the audience. And I have one here for Suman because it relates to the finance industry, and basically it's well, the first part of the question is actually requirements of getting in the program. I'll let Regina answer this question, but Suman, do shed some light in terms of the scope of jobs in the finance industry after getting a master's from like your business school.
Okay, like you said, when you say finance, is like so many departments within finance, and like I would say like I mean algo trading, risk management group, finance, research, or even now like doing the machine learning, data science, and all that is also related to finance. You have so many jobs there, and although I come from a bank, I'm in the technology department, so I could literally see like what the people call it as digital banks and all. So the fintech industry, digital bank and all. So uh, if you're inclined towards technology and finance, there's plenty of opportunities here in Singapore. Yeah.
And what's the sentiments in the market right now? I mean, more broadly within the banking industry. Is it good? Is it oops or
I mean, actually, for the fintech, I find it good for now.
Yeah.
But investment sector, trading and all, a little bit volatile because the markets are also volatile. So the performance and all the credit choose thing that. So that front office space is a little bit vulnerable now. But the fintech is still like best part. If you really get into fintech, then Singapore is the best place.
Yeah. I was recently just facilitating a panel for our Master of Science in Finance. This is another program. So this is a bilingual program, so it's a little bit different from the ones that you are at. And I was fortunate to be meeting two panelists from the fintech sector, and it's growing, right? But fintech is huge, right? Depending on which part of the continuum we are talking about. There's a huge demand for talent entering the space, both at the entry level position as well as very senior executive. So this is certainly a game changer from a perspective with a lot of opportunities. The question is whether you have the heart for it, because it's not for the faint-hearted, right? And if you look at the likes of FTX, it does make us wonder a little bit about joining this sector for me personally, but no two fintechs alike, right? So this is certainly an area that is growing quite rapidly. We have a question here for I believe would be for Mayang, that might be, hopefully you can. I'm just suspecting that you might be the one that can answer this question, and it's kind of coming from Dara, who's from Gujarat, and he or she, so I'm sorry, I am not able to tell, has just completed an MTech in cybersecurity and have 1+ years experience in the same field, and looking to start his or her journey here in Singapore as the demand for cybersecurity rightfully is growing, right? He or she has been applying to various job portals, but still isn't getting a response. And can you perhaps provide some guidance?
Well, the best way to start a career here would be to actually enroll in a master's program. I think that's the most easiest way to get a job here. If you maybe right now, if you apply directly from India, maybe you might face some problems because markets everywhere, you know that it's not that great. But I would suggest maybe you explore some programs from NBS, in NTU, and you explore the possibilities, the course and what you want to learn from it. And then maybe if you apply after that, I'm sure you'll get a job here. So that would be my advice. Yeah.
And have you found that to be the case for you as well?
Yeah, for me too. I mean, I always say, if you actually apply directly from India for a job here in Singapore, maybe it's not that easy. If you actually do a master's here, it gets much easier. And also, while you're and you're learning, you learn new things here. You work among one of the best. Your colleagues and your classmates are going to they'll help you learn more things, and you'll also network a lot here. So that stays with you.
Mhm.
So,
And
yeah.
I'll just add a little bit to that, right? Whilst the whole notion and concept of placement is very different here in Singapore versus in India, it's what you are exposed to when you're in Singapore, right? The amount of networks that we will be exposing you to, and it's through these networks that you start to make friends within the industry. And it's really cliche as it may sound, it's not what you know, but who you know that makes you successful in your career, and certainly within the job search space. So you'll be meeting a lot of alumni and industry partners who will be in a field that that you are interested in, right, Dara? So hopefully through these connections, you'll be able to be aware of the jobs that are available. A lot of times, by the time that you are seeing the job being posted on websites and portals, those jobs have already been filled, right? And that's why it's through the networks that you know of the jobs that are in the gray market, as we call it, right? That the jobs that never get posted because first companies are looking internally for that candidate, right? And if you are aware of this, then you are in a much better position of being able to apply for those jobs that are not even available to the public. By the time it gets to the public, yeah, most of the time it already may have been filled, right? Okay. There's a question here that's very specific to the Master of Science in Financial Engineering. So Suman, help us shed some light on this. So it comes from Jarash Agarwal, right? Who's from India and has just recently completed an undergrad in computer science and engineering. Looking forward to joining at NBS, so hopefully I can welcome you for the MFE program, and would like some tips on building his or her application.
Okay, so you'll be having an interview. Apart from your selection process, you'll also have an interview. Professor Charlie would be taking. So you need to showcase that you have a prior experience in statistics, you're good at mathematics, and then if you don't come from a finance degree background, it's better to have some certifications, at least like the starting levels of financial risk management, a certified financial analyst. You need to do some kind of certifications. Else, like somewhere like you need to show that you have this finance interest within you. And then, yeah, programming should be there. You should let them know that you do have like experience in programming. If you don't come from a computer science background, or you don't come from this IT job and all, at least you do some certifications. Then let the the interview people, let them know that you are also good at this programming. So at the end of the day, like you look at the curriculum, then you more or less understand that okay, it's a culmination of all these things, and then you need to project all these things in your application. It should be like very clear to them. Yeah, that would improve your chances, I would say.
Mm-hmm. And from a perspective, was the interview with Prof. Charlie difficult?
I wouldn't forget like Professor Charlie. Very, very nice, very nice.
Yes. All right. Something for Ayushi. I would like to think it's for Ayushi because it's much more related to retail and fashion merchandising. So I'm sure you have some exposure to it, whether personally or your classmates. So Ayushi, this is a question from Nishit Singh, okay, who's a graduate in retail and fashion merchandising. And undergrad was a little bit different from a little bit from others, as it was 4 years as of now. So she does have some prior working experience, as all of our alumni have actually, but don't have any work experience and looking for a job and planning to do a master's in 2023. How can he or she start her journey with a background in retail and fashion merchandising?
Yeah, I think, well, I don't have so much information about this industry specifically, but what I can say is the best way to go about it is to actually connect with people who are in this industry, take help of career coaches wherever you find, and just try to understand where you want to get and what is it that is going to help you get there in terms of education, in terms of again certifications, what you can learn, and just help bridge that gap. So I think that's all I would say.
Mm-hmm. Good. This is the next question is from Abdul Manan. And any one of you can answer this. So Abdul has just completed a BSc in civil engineering. So fresh in the field, looking to start a career in Singapore, but don't know how to start. So very, very broad question. You can start anywhere basically. But hopefully any one of you can provide some insights in terms of how to go about this journey. Let's start with Mayank.
Yeah, so you have a bachelor's in civil engineering. I think I had a bachelor's in electrical engineering. Now I'm doing something which is not, I don't think it's anywhere related to electrical. It depends on what you want to do. If you know what field you have decided to do, then you can look at some financing options. You can take a loan and you can start straight away. I would say you can start applying. And before you apply, and if you know what you want to do, maybe you build your resume towards that. You take some online courses, you do some trainings, so that you get selected. Yeah, that would be my advice.
What about you, Ayushi? What advice would you provide?
Yeah, I think it's similar to just what Mayank just said. I think if the motive is to be able to work in a certain country, get that exposure and so on, it's definitely helpful to get it through a course that you're doing, just to upskill your resume, yeah, I think that would be the way to go. Yeah.
So maybe a different take on this. So we have a lot of folks in the audience who are fresh graduates and wondering whether now is the time to apply for a specialized master's versus work a number of years like all you have. Suman, what would your advice be?
I would actually say, like, you need to take some time, need to think what exactly you want to do, like what specialization do you want to do. It's not about near term, like, okay, 10 years, 15 years down the line, you want to get into this particular industry, you're okay with this thing. Until you get that kind of clarity, it's better not to just jump into some kind of master's course and all. I would agree that you do some graduation and then it's a different field, and then you get into master's in another field. I would completely agree. Like, people use it for a career switching platform and all, but for masters is a bit different, and you should be so sure that okay, what you really want to pursue in your life and all. You get the clarity, and then whatever Mayank said, I would completely agree. Then once you are clear with this thing, improve your application, make it so strong, upskill yourself. These are like basic fundamental things I would keep saying. And I also see, like, someone was bothering about investment. I don't have any investment. How do I do here? I know Singapore, I would definitely say it's a bit reasonable in terms of tuition cost and all. When you compare with US and all, anyone doing research would definitely understand, okay, tuition cost in Singapore versus US and all. And most importantly, if you get an admission in NTU, you have many institutions who give you loan. So education loan and also, yeah, don't worry about it, like you don't have any investment.
And I'll probably just chime in a little bit here. I think there are pros and cons in terms of having some working experience versus coming straight from college, right? So the pros of obviously having some working experience is you get to know, you get to discover yourself more, right? In the course of working within the workforce, you understand where your aspirations are, where your interests are, and maybe an MBS specialized masters may be the key in terms of helping you pivot into a different role or a different geography. So those are the pros in terms of working before joining a specialized master's program. We do also have a lot of students who come straight from college within our specialized master's program, right? And the pros of that is it's a very, very natural transition from undergrad to postgraduate, where you go really deep into the topic, right? But particularly if you're thinking of a specialized master's program, we go really, really deep in terms of the domain, right? Like a specialized master's in financial engineering. Now, I don't think you can get that within an undergrad program, right? Specialized master's in marketing science, business analytics, right? That gives you an edge over other fresh undergrad graduates. And the good thing is you come from a different industry, different geography. And a lot of our employers are very, very open to international students who are coming from different geographies, because you bring diversity into the workforce that a lot of companies here in Singapore are looking for. So there's really no right or wrong answer. I'll just say don't wait 10 years, right? So otherwise, any time is probably a good time as long as you're ready, right? It is quite a major decision, like all our panelists have mentioned. And when you're ready, you can make things happen. I think we have answered all of the careers related questions. So I'm going to pass the floor back to you, Regine, to answer some of the questions from the audience that are related to the admission side of things.
Yes, thank you, Prof. Ivy, and thank you for all of our panelists for sharing all your personal experience. So I think there are some questions about, how to apply to a program. I think I'll just give a general overview of how to, gain admissions into our program. So right now we are open for application. We're accepting application for next year, July intake. So if you're interested in to apply to our Masters of Science in Business Analytics, where Ma Yang graduated from, or our financial engineering program where Suman graduated from, as well as Ayushi, she's from the marketing science program. We are now accepting application. We do also have a Masters of Science in Accountancy that we are also accepting application for. So all our admissions is on a rolling basis, which means that right now, today, when you put in your application and all your supporting documents are uploaded, are completed, our admissions team colleagues will actually review your application. And if you're shortlisted, we will invite you for admissions interview. So this process could take up to, 2 to 8 weeks, depending on the volume of applications. So I just want to share that if you guys are interested to, to enroll in the next year intake, you have to start, putting in your application already, because we already started our admissions for a few months already, and we have already been recruiting and admitting students. Yeah, so all our specialized master's program do not require any work experience, which is why we do get a number of students who are like Prof. Ivy has shared, they come straight from undergrad into the master's program. Yeah, but of course, we also have students who, joined the program with a few years of work experience, like Ayushi, Suman, and Mayang. Yeah, they come with a few years of work experience, but they're generally, not more than 5 years of work experience, I would say. Yeah, so that's the basic admissions requirement. So for marketing science, we do not require any GMAT or GRE test score, but for financial engineering, business analytics, accountancy, there is a requirement for GMAT and GRE test score. But I know that, our applicants from India, they typically come with very good scores, so I'm not worried about that at all. Yeah, so TOEFL and IELTS is not required because I believe all of you, undergo the undergraduate program, that is taught by English language. So there's no need to submit a score at all. Yeah, so this is a brief overview of our admissions requirement. And all our programs we also offer as in award a partial scholarship that's based on merit. So if you would like to be considered for scholarship, so do complete the scholarship section in your online application. Yeah, so if there's any specific questions, just let me look at a Q&A. Okay, I saw one from Vanny. How much importance does work experience hold in the selection process of NTU? I would say that because these are specialized master's program, it is a pre-experience program. Work experience is not required, but we do look at relevant internships, especially relevant to the major that you are applying to. For example, if you're interested in marketing science program, we will be looking at, if you have done any marketing related internships in your application. Yeah, so work experience is not required, but if you have work experience, then of course the relevancy to the discipline that you are applying to will be also looked into. Yeah. Okay, so next question I saw is on Srilok Sharma. So you're a graduate from Mass Comm and Journalism with experience in 2 years in digital marketing. and would like to know if the post-completion of master's program for MBS, does it make sense to find opportunity in India apart from choosing other country? What would be better decision to consider? I believe you're asking about after completing the program, if you should look for work opportunities in India or in Singapore. So perhaps maybe Ayushi is the best person to answer this question. Yeah, maybe Ayushi, would you like to help us with this?
Yeah, I think in terms of relevance of the degree, there is obviously, it matters what university you do it from, and NTU does hold a position there. Obviously, Singapore is where you'll be taking the master's, so the weightage there is definitely higher. So yeah, it depends on which country you're really focusing on and what opportunities you get there. But there's definitely a relevance in India as well, I would say. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ayushi. So sorry, I'm just looking at some of the questions. And there's one from Ashwin. What would be the key differences and advantage if we compare studying at MBS in any European university? Oh, I think this is a very interesting and a very good question. I think the strength of a Nanyang Business School is really, one of the key strengths is, of course, our location. We are located in Asia, and I think many of us here would agree that Asia is the fastest growing economic region, where a lot of things are happening in the ASEAN as well as the wider Asia Pacific region. So coming here, you're in like the thick of the actions where a lot of growth and opportunity in terms of job opportunity comes in. So I think this makes up a very interesting location to be studying and to build your connections, because like your classmates are, many of them come from the region, so you already build a network of classmates. And we hear from Mayang, he was connected to his senior, he's connected to his junior. So you already have a huge base of network to tap on. So I think this is a kind of a network that is kind of invaluable. And of course, Nanyang Business School, we are a premier business school within a leading technological university, which means that as a business school itself, we are able to tap onto the strengths of NTU in the tech and innovations. And I think this is something that a lot of university and business school cannot lay claim to. For this tech intersection of a tech and business, I think this is a strength of a Nanyang Business School. Perhaps if any of our alumni here would like to to share about were they considering European school and Nanyang Business School, and why did you eventually choose MBS? I think that would be helpful. Yeah, any one of you was considering a European school and then Singapore? Okay, I think they say no. They're quite focused on Asia.
Maybe I can just add a little bit of insights. I think coming to MBS is actually the best of both worlds, right? You are actually going to be in touch with faculty members. Many of us are originating from the West. Some of us having done our PhDs in Europe, and most are from the US. And then having spent a significant number of years here in Singapore and Asia. And I think that's what the distinctive value of MBS is, which is really the East meets West part of things. And MBS is also very well known for our research in terms of cultural intelligence, and we bring that into the classroom, right? That makes you much more culturally savvy and being able to navigate a frequently difficult career journey, as well as working in a very, very diverse workforce here in Singapore and globally. And I think that's what sets us apart from the European schools and the American schools. And I don't want to say that they're more European and American centric, whereas here in MBS we are much more global university and having the best of both worlds.
Thank you, Prof. Ivy. So I'm very acutely aware that we have kind of like overrun already. So I just answer one or two more questions on admissions, which is related to the scholarship application as well as our rolling admissions process. So one of the questions was, would it what is the advantage of, like applying early? Definitely there is, because it's a rolling admission. So because we're already admitting students, so of course the earlier you put in your application, you actually have better chance of being shortlisted for admissions interview, because the competition is lesser, because as the admissions go on, we receive a bigger pool, and that's where, and we have lesser seats. So definitely it will be more and more competitive towards the end of the admission cycle. So I mean, if all your documents are already ready, I really encourage you to, work on your application to submit as early as possible. And another question will be on the scholarship admissions application process. It's a very, very simple process. So in your online application, you will see a section on scholarship application. You just need to check the box that you're interested to be considered for a scholarship. And there will be additional essay questions that you need to complete. So just complete that and submit together with your application. So if you're offered admissions to the program, that's where our scholarship admissions, our scholarship committee will actually look into your application to see, and they will decide if you'll be awarded with a scholarship and the quantum of the scholarship. So I think these are the two main questions on the application part. And I think Mayang has, and I think a lot of people have been asking for a panelist LinkedIn profile. So we have already shared them into the chat. So if you're interested to connect with our panelists to get more personal insights, please feel free to reach out to them directly. So I guess that would be all of the questions. So I think Sanjay has also been sharing that if you're interested to, have a more in-depth about admissions with me, there's a link to sign up for next Saturday. So please feel free to sign up that. Yeah. So Prof. Ivy, do you have any last, any last advice?
No, I don't. I think the advice really came from our panelists, and I'm very, very thankful that we continue to have this very, very good a network of alumni that we can always tap into. So I just want to extend my biggest thanks to Mayang, Suman, and Ayushi.
Yeah, thank you so much to all our panelists. Yeah.
And thank you to both of you as well for facilitating this, and thank you to everyone for joining. And great, you have a great time in Singapore, and those of you dialing in from India, thank you again for dialing in. Have a great weekend. Take care, all of you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.